Good morning. Happy February, everybody. This month in the office, we've been talking a little bit about self-care, self-love, those topics, which are a little bit different. And so when Hope asked me to, talk a little bit about that, about self-love, I was thinking self-care. I really was. I was like, okay, well, what do we do? These things for ourselves that we do, these practices that allow us to spend a little time just focusing on us, taking care of ourselves. And we all have maybe those practices, right? Like things that we like to do if we're feeling stressed or just need a break, the things that we do to take care of ourselves, which I think are very important. But on the flip side, there's always like the yin and the yang, right? The flip side of that is that, sometimes we make these, especially in the beginning of the year, right? At January, we have all these big ideas, these big plans for ourselves that we, that we impose upon ourselves sometimes. And as February rolls around, many of us maybe haven't quite lived up to what we said we were going to do. So as far as the topic of self-love goes, it's kind of like, how do we treat ourselves when we fall a little short, right? And with our health, it's so important that we are not holding ourselves to an impossible standard and kind of having that all or nothing sort of mindset, right? Because it just doesn't work that way. We can be doing a lot of the right things and something will come up, throw us off. We'll have a stressful week. We'll binge eat a pint of Trader Joe's mint chip ice cream, which, I may have experience with. But anyway, so we might fall off of that, right? And so that's where that self-care versus self-love comes in, right? Because self-love is like, hey, you know what? What do we feel about ourselves in those moments? Like, oh my God, I'm such a failure. I'm never going to achieve this goal, right? Versus, hey, I'm human. Everybody is on this path and we're all just trying to walk forward in life, right? And we make mistakes. We have those moments where we're disappointed in ourselves or worse, hopefully not. But the key to that is to remember, like, hey, what are the things that I have done today, that I have accomplished? And maybe it is just getting out of bed and showing up for the people in your life. So self-love is, in my opinion, in this for the purposes of talking about how we take care of ourselves, I think it's giving ourselves a little grace to just say, hey, you know what? It's not going to always be perfect. It's not going to look linear like our list of New Year's resolutions. So if you found yourself falling a little short, give yourself a little grace and just, move forward. We all have an opportunity to start again. And I know years and years ago, I was very all or nothing. It was like, okay, I'm going to do this great cleanse diet and it's going to be awesome and I'm going to follow it to the letter. And then, a weekend I'd be cheating a little bit. Well, I probably gave up at that point versus like, okay, that was a day, that was a moment, that was a morning, whatever it might be. I can just kind of move forward and get back on that. So we have to have that feeling of like, hey, I'm not a failure. I'm worthy of this goal. So one thing that I have been thinking about lately is my oldest daughter. Some of you may know her. When it came to January and like, what do you want to do with the year, right? It's a big year for her. She's a senior. But she actually had a really good idea. And I've been sharing this with patients. It's that, every week she takes one or two things to work on. So it wasn't like, I'm going to work out at the gym 5 times this week or 5 times a week for the whole year, right? It was more like, I'm going to focus on this week, drinking more water and packing a school lunch. And so then she would do those things and kind of focus in on that for a week. And then the next week it was like, I'm going to make sure I'm taking my vitamins and getting to bed before, 10:30 or whatever. And, those things kind of layer over time. So when it comes to self-care and that kind of where does it meet self-love, I would encourage an approach like that. I think it has worked really well for me as I've been trying it. So it's a great idea from her. But I think, just taking that one or two things that you can do easily without a lot of stress, without beating yourself up if it falls short, but just, hey, I'm going to drink more water today. I'm going to, eat one more serving of vegetables, or I'm going to eat any servings of vegetables, or I'm going to get to bed a little earlier, versus I'm going to do all those things every day. And, we're very likely to fall short at times. So that's, what I've been thinking about as far as self-care and self-love. We all have those lovely practices, but the way we perceive ourselves is more of that self-love. So give yourselves a break. Keep working on just being a better version. Move, drink water, get sleep. And of course, if we can help you with any of those things, and sometimes it is just a matter of feeling good moving. We like to specialize in that, getting you feeling good to move and to have the energy and motivation to do some of those good things for our health. But feel free to reach out to us if we can help you in any way. Happy February. Happy Valentine's Day.